Agit Kabayel is an email champion. Where's the ridicule? Let's talk about it.
Push the weight and flex. The live is 1 in the 6. With the runner, boy, you nigga, no question. You will run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm a 88 pack nigga. I'm a 88 pack nigga. I mean, day walker, drink blood, fangs out, full moon, motherfucker change like a hoe, nigga. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
Drew Titan Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. Like I always tell you, I like to let things rest for a while before I, go full throttle on it. So if you haven't been following the news or just, DD, what I call DD is deliberately dumb. Alexander Usyk vacated his titles, but he's not retiring. All right, did you hear me? He fights Rico. He got the win at the last second. I don't want to discuss whether it was a bad stoppage or not. It's whatever, but he got the win. He's not retiring, but he vacated. And now Agit Kabayel ends up with the belt. I follow him on Instagram. I like Agit Kabayel. And people are congratulating him. He shouted out Alexander Usyk. There's no malice. There's no trash talk, nothing. And he went from interim champion. Now he's full champion, WBC. So he was paying sanctioning fees for the interim belt. You remember when I spoke about the nonsense with Mauricio Sillyman saying that he was happy. He told Chris Mannix that Kabayel is happy to be the interim champion. But, I guess Mauricio Sillyman doesn't want to tell Usyk what to do. Last time he told the champion what to do, they threw his belt in the garbage. Canelo, remember that? Time to fight Golovkin. Nope. Threw it in the trash. I'm like, ooh. And that was back when I supported Canelo. I'm like, oh my God, why are you doing that? Just fight the guy. You could beat him. He threw it in the garbage. You remember? Just give me my belt. Mauricio Sillyman said, hey, Canelo, it's time for you to fight Gennady Golovkin. He said, F you, man. He threw it in the trash. And, there went that. That happened. Look it up. He didn't fight Gennady Golovkin at first. He didn't do it. He threw the belt away. That's what he did. So now, he's not going to tell Usyk, hey, man, this guy's an interim champion. He deserves it. He didn't say anything. He was happy collecting fees from Usyk and fees from Agit Kabayel and, 2 bites at the apple, right? So now Usyk says, you know what? I struggled with Rico, got the win. Fine. I'm going to let these belts go. And I guess he calls himself having a couple of legacy fights or whatever he wants to call it. And they're mentioning Deontay Wilder's name. Nothing's etched in stone. It's just a conversation. And I saw a poster with him and John Jones. Yo, look, man, whatever. Get your money, Usyk. Get your money. I don't think Deontay should fight Usyk when there's no prize on the line. That's just another way of the system trying to freeze the brother out, but more on that on another video. We're not talking about who you think wins. We're talking about principle. Either you fight Kabayel or on the way out say, hey, man, I never fought Deontay. You were supposed to do it about 4 years ago, didn't do it. Had us standing there in Brooklyn like, where's Usyk at? Hey, he's in California. What's he doing over there? Oh, God, we was waiting on him. We thought we was going to have a stare down after the Robert Helenius fight. But whatever. So now you're entertaining Deontay, but I'm hoping Deontay doesn't entertain this because there's nothing involved. But again, I'll discuss that further later on. So now Agit Kabayel ends up with Usyk's belt. Kabayel didn't win it in the ring. So by today's standards, is that not an email? Let me explain. For those of you with short memory or just plain ignorant. Once upon a time, there was a mental midget of Honduran descent named Teofimo Lopez, and he was a unified champion at 135 pounds, right? And he fought a man by the name of Vasily Lomachenko for the WBC. What was it? Franchise status. Y'all remember the franchise status? Y'all remember that? In which he beat Vasily Lomachenko for the franchise belt. The interesting thing about that is that the franchise status, when it was first introduced, one of the things was it was not transferable, meaning you could use that status to go up and down in weight to fight pretty much anyone you wanted to fight in the WBC rankings. But you don't lose it. You don't lose your franchise status if you lose. That was the rule. Now, how did Vasily Lomachenko become the franchise champion? Well, if you research it, we've spoken about this dozens, well, hundreds of times. He was the full WBC champion at 135 pounds. The difficulty was his mandatory was a man by the name of Devin the Dream Haney. Wait a minute, I said his name.
Shining star for you to see what your life can truly be.
Yeah. And what was done was the WBC and Lomachenko, they were in cahoots, and they gave the franchise status to Vasily Lomachenko. Gave it to him. But you can't be the real champion and the franchise champion at the same time. So what he did was he vacated the real belt and accepted this mythical status, by the way, that doesn't even exist anymore. And where Devin wanted to fight Lomachenko to become the real WBC champion, he was elevated to full champion because Vasily, the coward that he is, chose to become the franchise champion. Then he gets in the ring with Teofimo Lopez. He loses, and magically, the franchise status was transferable on that night that Vasily lost. That's why Teofimo Lopez was running around talking about he was undisputed. That's not true. He didn't have the real belt. And the only reason why he ended up fighting Teofimo Lopez was because he vacated the real belt, which is how Devin ended up with it. Because if he kept it, he'd have to fight Devin, in which he would have got his ass whooped. And then Devin would have took that one WBC strap and wanted to fight Teofimo Lopez, and Teofimo Lopez would have dumped the belts and move on. You know how I know? Because he said it. You know when he said it? After he lost to George Kambosos. Please don't play with me. Do the research. He admitted it. You already know what I would have did with it. I'd have dumped the belts and made it a harder thing for Haney to become champion. All of this for Devin Haney. The fear. But let's focus on the term email, because that was the first time I heard it. I was like, why is he email champion? Oh, because he got Loma's belt. Well, who sent the email? Loma did. The WBC and Loma did. Devin wanted to fight. Y'all gave him the belt. So he takes that belt and fights George Kambosos 2 times on foreign soil. It becomes what? Undisputed. Against the WBO, against the WBC, against everyone who was in cahoots to try and freeze Devin Haney out. If you follow my channel, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But let's focus on the term email. Who sent the email? Loma. But y'all continue to call Devin an email champion. Fine, I know what that's about. So what's Agit Kabayel? He was an interim champion. And now Usyk said, I'm not going to fight you for it. Here, just take it. I'm not retiring, but take the belt. Everyone's high-fiving. I went to Kabayel's Instagram. Everyone's saying, congratulations, salute, champ. Yeah, salute to Agit. He's for real. I ain't got no beef with him. But wait a minute. This is the same thing. Only it's done more classy. See, Tiafimo's classist. Lomachenko's a coward. Whoa, now that I think about it, what's going on in the Ukraine where they just giving up belts? Loma gave his belt to Devin, but he spun the block and eventually had to fight him. Usyk, are you going to spin the block and fight Agit Kabayel? Probably not. And no one's going to hold him accountable to this because it's Usyk. He does have a Hall of Fame career. I'm not cutting him down for that. But the other part is complexion for the protection. We all know what this is. But no one's going to call Agit Kabayel an email champion. There's no doubt in my mind he wanted to fight Usyk for that. Agit, I think he'll fight anybody. But the situation still stands. He didn't fight for that belt. It was given to him. And this man's not retiring. That's an email. Right? So there's no ridicule for Usyk. Hey, man, when you giving up belts, are you retiring? No. You trying to fight Deontay? Especially, I get people all the time, yo, Deontay's washed. Now you want to fight him? But you gave up your belts? What I hear is people saying, oh, congratulations to Usyk. He don't want to hold up the division. Really? When Loma when he vacated his belt and Devin ended up with it, instead of saying, yo, Loma, that's cowardly, y'all criticized Devin Haney. Like, what are we doing here? And I'm not taking a shot at Agit Kabayel. What I'm saying is, you fanatics are retarded. You see, all you got to do is wait. You know how I feel, man. Time reveals all truth and the lies, nothing but a long way to the truth, and here we are. Just a few years later, look at that. Never mind, I think what Usyk did is cowardly. Either you're in or you're out. Either you're in or you're out. But you gave this man the title via email, didn't fight him. People are congratulating Agit as if he won it, not calling him an email champion, and there's no ridicule for Alexander Usyk? You guys are exactly who I always said you are. One-sided. And in the words of my good brother, Coach B. Hudson, double-minded and double-tongued. But that side, I'm here. I got you right. Prove me wrong. I dare you. Bronx on deck.
Move!